The 1st of April 6, 2020. A phone screen lights up in the middle of a global lockdown, and on it, for the first time, is a brand new streaming app called Quibi, Quick Bites. Behind it stand two of the most powerful executives in America, Jeffrey Katzenberg, the man who helped run Disney's animation empire and then built DreamWorks from nothing, and Meg Whitman, the operator who scaled eBay into a giant and ran Hewlett-Packard afterward. Together they raised $1.75 billion with a B from nearly every major Hollywood studio on Earth. And in 6 months essentially all of it was gone. The official obituary, delivered by the founder himself, blames one thing and one thing only: terrible timing. Wrong app. Wrong pandemic. Here's the problem with that story. Dozens of other apps launched into that exact same lockdown and did just fine. Some of them had their biggest year ever. So the timing isn't what killed this patient. The product was already terminal before a single American was told to stay home. This is flatline. Gloves on. Today's patient lived for about 6 months and swallowed $1.75 billion on the way down. Tonight we open up Quibi. And the coroner's note is going to make the founder very uncomfortable. 2-3 First. Understand why nobody in that room thought they could possibly lose. Katzenberg wasn't some App Store gambler. He was Hollywood royalty, a man who'd greenlit entire animated universes and who genuinely believed he understood, better than anyone alive, what makes people watch. Whitman wasn't some founder playing CEO for the first time either. She was one of the most decorated operators in American business, the woman who had scaled eBay from a garage auction site into a Fortune 500 company. On paper, this was the safest bet in Silicon Valley. Visionary content guy, plus battle-tested operations woman, plus more Hollywood cash than most studios ever see. They signed Steven Spielberg. They signed Reese Witherspoon. They put Chrissy Teigen on her own court show. They commissioned 175 shows and 8,500 episodes of premium, cinema-grade content in year one alone, more than $1 billion of it. Each episode chopped into quick bites of 10 minutes or less for your commute. It should have worked. Two proven giants, and the plan still had a hole in it nobody in that boardroom ever thought to check. 4-5. So what's the actual diagnosis if it isn't the virus? Ask Katzenberg, and you get one answer, delivered with total confidence in the press, over and over. The pandemic ruined everything. I attribute everything that has gone wrong to coronavirus, he told the New York Times in May of 2020. Everything. And sure, nobody was commuting anymore, and Quibi was built for the commute. But here's the hole in that alibi. 2020 was also the year TikTok exploded past 100 million American users, the year Disney Plus signed up tens of millions of subscribers in its first months, the year Netflix added more subscribers than it ever had before. The lockdown was catastrophic for airlines and gyms. It was rocket fuel for phones and screens. So if every other video app on Earth was having the best year of its life, and this one specific app died with the cash still warm in the bank, the pandemic isn't your killer. You have to look at what this app did differently from every single one of its rivals. 6-7. And that's where you find the actual weapon, because it isn't one bad call, it's 3 fatal assumptions stacked on top of each other. Assumption 1. Mobile only. No app for your television. No casting to your TV, nothing. Because Katzenberg was certain people would only ever watch on the go. Then lockdown put the entire country on its couch, in front of the biggest screen in the house, and Quibi had nothing to say to that television. Assumption 2, and this is the one that should get its own crime scene photo, no screenshots, and at launch, no share button. You could not clip a funny moment and text it to a friend. You could not post it. The single mechanism that makes any piece of video content spread for free, the thing that turns 6-second Vine clips and 15-second TikToks into global phenomena, was engineered out of the product on purpose. And assumption 3, all that Hollywood money went into slick, expensive prestige television content nobody had actually asked to see, chopped into 10-minute pieces on a phone. A rotating screen gimmick called Turnstile got the big stage reveal at CES. Whether anyone wanted a story that flips sideways got a lot less attention. Quibi didn't get unlucky. It built a beautifully produced television network and physically prevented it from ever being watched on a television or shared by a single human being. 8-9. Now watch the math confirm the diagnosis in real time. Launch day. 300,000 downloads, a respectable number 3 on the App Store. Week 1, 1.7 million downloads. The marketing had worked. But a month in, the download curve doesn't hold, because there was nothing to share and nowhere on the big screen to watch it. The app fell to 125th on the charts. 3.5 million people had installed it, and only 1.3 million were still opening it. Free trials ended, and roughly 90% of those users simply vanished. Only about 8% ever converted to paying. By October, Quibi had roughly 500,000 paying subscribers against an internal projection of 7.4 million. Only then, 5.5 months too late, did TV apps for Apple TV, Fire TV, and Google TV finally ship. On October 21, 2020, the same day those TV apps landed, Quibi announced it was shutting down. The company that was engineered to live entirely on your phone died roughly 6 months after launch, having burned through nearly the entire $1.75 billion and having actually made 2 Emmy-winning shows nobody ever found. In January 2021, Roku bought the whole library, 75-plus shows for under $100 million, and put it on television. For free. The screen Quibi refused to build for is exactly where its content ended up living. 10-11. So here's the line for the certificate. And it isn't killed by COVID. Cross that out. What actually killed Quibi was hubris wearing a business plan. 2 brilliant executives so certain of their own instincts that they never once user-tested the 3 decisions that mattered most. No television, no sharing, no cheap content, and then spent $1 billion proving themselves wrong at Hollywood budget speed. The pandemic didn't write this obituary. It just happened to be standing in the room when the patient, who was already dying of its own design, finally stopped breathing. 12-13. So here's the scar worth keeping. When a founder tells you the timing killed the company, check what everyone else was doing at that exact same time. Because if the whole industry was thriving in the same weather, the weather isn't your culprit. And be suspicious of confidence dressed up as certainty. The more untested assumptions a plan is built on, the louder its founder usually has to insist it can't fail. We've got a whole ward of them now. Kodak clutched its film. MySpace rented out its own crowd. Sears got handed to a mad scientist. WeWork was a landlord in a prophet's clothing. Vine got left to die by the company that owned it. Lehman cooked its own blood test for years. And Quibi built the television show, and then welded the television off. The phone didn't fail. The thesis did. See you in the next autopsy. 14.